Hello and welcome to your news and features electronic magazine that centers on the different facets of motoring. Now on its 34th year, this is Motoring Today. I'm Ray Louis Gamboa. Here are this week's features to watch out for.
On Motoring Forum, we shall discuss why the IATF is slow in resuming angkas operations. Our road safety reminder on the Young Street Smarts portion centers on walking facing the traffic. This week's Payong Super shall be about the importance of respecting pedestrians. The public service segment centers on why a certain vehicle can't be installed with an RFID sticker. Showcase this week shall have the mini SUV from Suzuki, the 2020 Espresso GL manual transmission. While for race weekend, we'll have the highlights of Inigo Anton's virtual races stints.
All these plus the latest news in transportation and traffic management, as well as developments in the automotive industry, are in this week's edition of Motoring Today. Join us.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota Wigo.
Live extra
with the new Mitsubishi Xpander Cross.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Here now are the latest news and developments in the country's transportation and traffic management.
One of the first 6-tunnel boring machines, or TBMs, to be used in the construction of the subway in Metro Manila is ready. The TBM was shown to the DOTR officials and members of media during the recent virtual tour and factory acceptance test at the plant in Japan, where the TBMs are manufactured and assembled. During the event, DOTR Secretary Arthur Tugade said he was happy to announce that the Metro Manila subway project is still on track even amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Secretary Tugade said he will be happier when the TBMs are finally delivered to Manila in January and February for the tunnel boring to begin. He added that he expects the country's first underground railway to be partially operational before the term of President Duterte ends. 6 TBMs will be used in the construction of the Metro Manila subway section from Valenzuela to North Avenue. Another 14 TBMs will be used for the remaining sections of the railway project. The 36-kilometer subway will connect Bulacan to Dasmariñas in Cavite, passing through the National Capital Region, and will have 15 stations. The Cebu People's Cooperative or CPC, recently held a roadshow to highlight its acquisition of 100 more modern PUVs under government's PUV Modernization Program, or PUVMP. The CPC now has a fleet of 170 modern PUVs that serve major routes in Metro Cebu. The modern PUVs are equipped with GPS, CCTV, speed limiters, front and rear cameras, an indoor TV for entertainment, air conditioning systems, and foam seats. The PUVs are powered by Euro 5 diesel engines and are equipped to accept cashless payment transactions, encouraged by transport and health authorities to help contain the spread of COVID-19. The DOTR, the LTFRB, and the Office of Transportation Cooperatives lauded the CPC for continuing to participate in the PUVMP, which envisioned to make the mass transport more efficient, safe, convenient, and comfortable for commuters. The LTO in Region 3 has opened a Driver's Education Center, where those applying for student permits can attend theoretical driving courses for free. The center has 2 lecture rooms, a library where learning materials on road and traffic regulations are available, and an examination room. The center also has what it calls a maneuvering track. According to LTO Region 3 Director Eduardo de Guzman, said the establishment of the Driver's Education Center is in line with initiatives to make the process for applying and getting issued licenses stricter. Applicants have to undergo a series of seminars they have to take and pass the written exam, and to have the actual or practical driving. It is in line with our road safety advocacy, de Guzman said. The Driver's Education Center will also be where those applying for licenses will undergo written and practical driving tests. Tests handed out during written exams will not be the same for every applicant to discourage cheating. Security at the Driver's Education Center will be strict. Only applicants and authorized persons will be allowed entry. The EDSA busway has added 3 more median bus stops. The new ones are at North Avenue, Quezon Avenue, and the NEPA Q-Mart. These make it 7 bus stops along the median lanes of EDSA. The first 4 were established at Guadalupe, Ortigas, Santolan, and Main Avenue. The DOTR is moving progressively to establish the EDSA busway, giving buses exclusive use of the middle lanes on the Metro's busiest and longest thoroughfare, with median loading and unloading stops. The EDSA busway will form a kind of loop from Monumento to the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange and back to Monumento, with exclusive use of the middle lanes of EDSA. The busway will cut the commuting time from one end to the other from 2 to 3 hours to just around 45 minutes. Already much of EDSA has concrete barriers and bollards separating the lane for buses from lanes meant for private motorists. Bollards now the choice after much public concern about the safety of concrete barriers. The DOTR said the EDSA busway will have 29 bus stops. 15 are already in place, but some still need the necessary infrastructure, including barriers, railings, lights, roof to make them safe and convenient for passengers. The DOTR also encouraged operators who signed up to be part of the busway to also install doors at both sides of buses for safety of passengers at median bus stops.
Those are the latest news in transportation and traffic management. Coming up next is Motoring Forum, brought to you by Suzuki Philippines. The IATF is now allowing riding in tandem, even for APORs, not living in the same household, as long as health protocols are complied with. People are asking why are they not allowing motorcycle taxis to resume operation?
Back riding, riding in tandem, pillion riding, whatever one calls it. it's now allowed in areas under general community quarantine protocols. Reason prevailed. The IATF, or the Interagency Task Force for the Management of Emerging Infectious Diseases, after public pleadings, in consultation hearings, and in social media posts, finally relented. 2 can now ride on a motorcycle without that much malign barrier or shield if they live in the same household, and with the shield preferably of the Angkas design if not. Face masks. Helmets with full face visors are mandatory for both rider and pillion passenger. The back rider must be an APOR, that's authorized person outside residence, to those unfamiliar with COVID-19 speak, so bring IDs and passes. And yes, the motorcycle used must be privately owned, which is just another way of saying that no motorcycle taxi operations allowed. This brings us to the question on many people's minds: why are motorcycle taxis not yet allowed to resume operations? The main argument for allowing motorcycle taxis to operate in areas under GCQ goes like this: if the IATF deems it reasonably safe for tandem riding of people not living in the same household, it must also be deemed safe for motorcycle taxi operation. Of course, there must be compliance with health and safety protocols. Face mask, helmet with full face visor, Angkas design barriers. Other arguments for resumption include the clear lack of public transport despite buses, taxis, shuttle, modern and traditional jeepneys, the light rail transits, the PNR now back in operation, albeit under strict compliance to physical distancing protocols. Then there's the notion that riding in tandem in open air is safer from COVID-19 infection than riding in the enclosed spaces of air-conditioned buses, FX shuttles, and taxis. Top Bikes, the new motorcycle magazine, reports that during a recent House panel hearing, Lieutenant General Guillermo Eleazar, commander of the Joint Task Force COVID, revealed that he has recommended the resumption of motorcycle taxi operations to the IATF. It also reports the House panel is echoing Eleazar's proposal, but couching its recommendation as the resumption of the pilot run of motorcycle taxi operations cut short by the lockdowns, while citing the acute shortage of public transportation. The House panel also cited, according to Top Bikes, the lack of data gathered from the participants in the pilot run, Angkas, Joyride, and Move It. Data gathered from the pilot run are meant to be used in crafting a law that would legitimize motorcycle taxi operations. Many are now saying that there are compelling reasons for the IATF to allow motorcycle taxis to operate under GCQ conditions. Still, the question remains: what is making the IATF take so long to decide on the matter?
The IATF has shown a willingness to listen to constructive criticism and reasonable recommendations. Commuters are hoping the IATF will do so again. That's our Motoring Forum this week, courtesy of Suzuki Philippines.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota Wigo.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
You are back with us here on Motoring Today. In line with our lifelong commitment to promote road safety, here is this week's road safety tip in cooperation with Yoda Motor Philippines.
If you're walking the sidewalks of the road, it is always better and safer kung ikaw ay nakaharap sa direksyon kung saan papunta ang traffic. This way, meron ka pang oras para iligtas ang sarili kung sakaling makita mo na may paparating na aksidente.
Continuing with this week's edition of Motoring Today, let's now focus on proper driver's demeanor, especially for those driving PUVs. From Mitsubishi Motors Philippines, here's Payong Chuper this week.
Payong Chuper lang, kaibigan. Ako po si Ka Jojo Martin, isang kapwa nyo, Chuper. Bigyang prioridad ang mga pedestrian.
Matutong magbigay daan sa mga tumatawid na pedestrian, lalo na sa mga bata at matatanda. Tumigil sandali at huwag magmadali. Maging mapagpasensya upang makaiwas na rin sa disgrasya. Siguraduhin na buo ang iyong atensyon sa pagmamaneho at sa lahat ng nasa paligid mo.
Bukod sa iyong mga pasahero, huwag ring kalimutang irespeto ang mga tao sa labas ng sasakyan. Ito po si Ka Jojo Martin. Payong Chuper lang, kaibigan. Mula sa isang kapwa nyo, Chuper.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota Wigo.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
Live extra.
With the new Mitsubishi Xpander Cross.
The Phenom, Inigo Anton, was in the midst of defending his overall championship of the Philippine Autocross Championship Series when the COVID-19 pandemic put a stop to all local and international motorsports. With no on-track events to race in, how did the 15-year racing star sate his thirst for racing? Race Weekend visits the young champion racer to find out. Last year, Inigo Anton was crowned Philippine Autocross Championship Series overall champion at the tender age of 15, a feat he achieved while beating his father and chief rival for the title, Carlos Anton. But there's nothing tender about the Phenom's skills and potential or his determination to be the best champion racer he can be. Inigo had just started a strong defense of his PAX crown at the beginning of the year, going fastest overall in 2 of the first 3 rounds. The family was abroad on vacation during the second round. Then, the COVID-19 pandemic intervened. With local motorsports in suspended animation, where does a young champion sate a thirst for racing? How can he continue to develop and hone his skills and talents for motorsports? Like everything else during the lockdown, the solution was to go digital. It was for Inigo an easy and obvious answer.
I've been racing virtually for all my life, just video games, but I've never really taken it seriously. It was just like there as, like, well, just to have fun. If you're not in the racetrack, might as well just do some practice on the actual simulator. But I really didn't take it that seriously yet, or, didn't really focus into it. But since the lockdown happened and there's not any more races, the only races I could join was virtually. So yeah, I kind of checked what the virtual races that were happening and the series. So yeah, and that's how I made my transition.
Local motorsports organizers also were quick to shift to virtual racing, providing racers like Inigo a chance to continue racing against others. Among them was Tuason Racing, which organized the Race for Frontliners, a short e-racing series that also aimed to raise funds for frontliners battling the COVID-19 pandemic. Race for Frontliners drew hundreds of participants, including familiar names from the local motorsports champions and contenders, battling it out with the gamers and professional e-racers. Guess who ended up as champion? Inigo Anton. For the Phenom, it wasn't that hard of a transition, real-life racing to virtual. After all, the Antons have invested in a simulator, maybe for fun or a kind of training for the real thing.
It wasn't as hard of a transition. Like, since I'm used to the sim, I just really had to put in the time and just really focus on it. Like, change my mindset to, like, even though it's just a sim race, I'll have the same mindset as in the real thing so that, I can drive to the best of my abilities during the race. So yeah, there's also just a little stuff to learn to adapt again. It feels a little different, but since the sim is very close to the real thing, it's very easy to adapt to it.
It wasn't hard to find more e-racing series to join. There's the GR Supra GT Cup Asia Philippines, where Inigo, because he is below 18, is competing in the special junior class, when he could well be a contender in the higher classes. Then, there's Alex Young's e-racing GPC Philippine Edition, a round exclusively for local gamers. Competing against local e-racers is just more learning and honing of skills.
With our Filipino sim racers, they're also very good, but I've never heard of them in the pro. Kasi I was, not messing around. And then with the actual pro sim racers, like Terence Lalave, Luis Moreno, Daryl Brady, it was amazing, to see our country do well in these actual sim races. And we also had a Philippine edition where we brought all the sim racers from the Philippines to try and duel it out. I was able to get second to Luis Moreno, and it was very fun, and I learned a lot from them also.
From participating in local e-races, it's an easy step to regional and international e-motorsports events. It was all there for racers early in the global pandemic.
One of my titos, Tito Oyi there, he was able to see that I was online in these virtual races also, and he invited me to join some of his races too, in different games of course. So yeah, I just kept on joining and having fun, and then he also invited me to join this ERGP. So in this ERGP, it's actually hosted by Alex Young, former F1 driver from Malaysia. And yeah, he was bringing in people across the world and mostly around Europe to race with the Southeast Asian sim racers. So, have a chance and feel how the European racers do it, also all the way from Australia and some even from the US.
So how was it competing with e-racers at the international level?
At least it challenges ourselves to try and compete internationally also with other countries. Us learning from each other and adapting to each other, it all helps. And what I've noticed also, like when I try to join or other people try to join international races, we're already almost there at the peak levels.
E-racing is good stuff, but for career racers. And there's no doubt Inigo is looking at a motorsports career. There's really nothing better than driving a race car on a real track. And after 5 months of not getting into a real race car, Inigo got a chance to at least test one, a Radical, on a real racetrack, Clark International Speedway. But this is as offshoot of a virtual racing.
How we got into contact with Radical Philippines about this test was that they invited me to join that race, and they saw that I was able to have good results. Like in the last race of the Radical, I was able to get 5th out of 50. It was a pretty good race for me, and they're happy with that result, and hopefully they wanted me to try the Radical in real life also.
And there's no hiding the joy of finally getting on the track with a fantastic race car.
You know, it's like amazing what that Radical can do. Like, I would say it's something out of a video game. Like, with testing it in the game and then trying it in real life, it does what you want it to do. Like, it turns in right away. It has all the power you want. It has the braking power you want also. Yeah, it was amazing to drive. And it was very easy to adapt to it also. Like, not being in a car for 5 months, only on the sim. And of course, the sim really helped me to get back into how a car really feels, you know, and how the Radical feels. And I was pretty happy with my result. I didn't expect to do that well, but of course, it was all with the coaching and all the teaching and all the learning, you know. So that day, I just took it one step at a time, getting more confident with the car. By the end of the day, I was able to do 158, which is about a good 15 to 20 seconds faster than I've ever raced before, ever driven in Clark.
Making Inigo's best lap time remarkable is that he's just 1 second off the fastest lap time recorded on a Radical at Clark set by none other than former phenom himself, Tyson C. Inigo is looking forward to a time when he could get back to real-life racing.
Since this is just a one-off thing with the test and everything, I might be back on track just to maybe test it or just go back into actual racing once the whole lockdown is over, or hopefully this all of COVID is already done. But if not, then I'll just still be on the sim. I'll still try and compete in as much as I can, you know. Yeah, just always just racing, you know. It's my passion, and you know, I love it and I can't get enough of it. So yeah, just expect to see me in all the sim races, and yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do well in it.
All motorsports enthusiasts, racers, and race fans alike are hoping the pandemic finally ends and real racing begins. But in the meantime, there's e-racing. That's this week's World of Motorsports. Motoring Today continues right after this break.
What do we go for? We go for experience. We go for excitement. We go for sport. We go for style. We go for fun. We go for the new Toyota WeGo.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
Welcome back to Motoring Today. Let's now take a look at what's happening in the local auto industry.
The world's best-selling plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, or PHEV, is now in the Philippines. Mitsubishi Motors Philippines Corporation, or MMPC, announced that the Manila Bay dealership, Peak Motors Philippines Incorporated, is now offering the Outlander PHEV, a compact crossover with 4x4 capability, powered by a gasoline engine and electric motors. Mitsubishi touts the Outlander PHEV as the world's first plug-in hybrid SUV, which has sold over 260,000 units across Europe, North America, Japan, and Australia. Plugged in to full charge, the Outlander PHEV can drive on pure electric for 55 kilometers. On longer drives, gasoline and electric motors take over in tandem. MMPC is very excited to launch the Outlander PHEV in the Philippine market. Best represents Mitsubishi's expertise in automotive engineering and its ever-evolving technology, said Matsuhiro Oshikiri, President and CEO of MMPC. The Outlander PHEV showcases the latest in Mitsubishi tech, like Super All-Wheel Control, Active Stability Control, and Anti-Lock Brake System. Also, for safety are Adaptive Cruise Control, Forward Collision Mitigation, Blind Spot Warning, and Lane Change Assist, Automatic High Beam, Ultrasonic Misacceleration Mitigation System. The Outlander PHEV is priced at 2,998,000 pesos. Honda Cars Philippines has launched what it calls a first-ever online dealership, Virtual at Honda. This Honda online dealership offers much of what clients can get when visiting an actual dealership, including sales and after-sales service, all from the comforts of home, the office, or virtually anywhere with good Wi-Fi or other modes of connectivity. Virtual at Honda can be visited via HCPI's official website, www.hondaphil.com. Once there, click on the red Virtual Showroom tab to be taken to Virtual at Honda dealership. There, customers can check out the virtual showroom to pick out their Honda of choice, choose from available colors, and view in 360-degree detail. At the virtual showroom, customers can easily navigate to check highlighted features of Honda vehicles and detailed spec sheet, as well as all the important SRPs. Customers can then head towards Shopping Tools Corner to select and chat with preferred Honda dealerships, download brochures, use a loan calculator, submit an inquiry, apply for an auto loan, schedule a test drive, request for a quotation, make an online reservation. Customers can even check dealership inventories for available stock. Finally, at the After Sales tab, customers can schedule appointments for vehicle servicing with knowledge about cost, parts availability, and even available promos. Isuzu Philippines Corporation has reached a new milestone, topping the 300,000 unit sales mark in August of this year. IPC reports that has now sold 300,133 units as of August, broken down into 241,389 light commercial and 58,744 commercial vehicles. Isuzu achieved this record after only 23 years since it began operations in 1996. Along the way, Isuzu was the country's top truck brand for 20 consecutive years. Isuzu attributed this success to the company's wide range of commercial vehicles that serve as a reliable cargo hauler and people mover for various trades. The company also cited its network of 40 dealerships nationwide for helping it achieve the milestone. We take pride on our strong dealer network, especially with the support we are getting from our dealer principals, shareholders, and parts suppliers. This sales milestone will not be possible without them, said IPC President Hajime Koso.
Motoring Today now brings you our Car of the Week on Showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee. Suzuki is known for making small, quirky family vehicles. Nothing comes quirkier than the Espresso, a mini hatchback to some a mini SUV to others and a K car to the Japanese. Showcase takes a close look at Suzuki's most affordable entry-level hatchback or SUV.
At any given time, the Suzuki Espresso may be the smallest vehicle on the road, but it will be the first to catch the eye. It's 3,565mm long, 1,520mm wide, and 1,565mm tall, measurements that fall well inside K-car dimensions. 180mm minimum ground clearance makes the Espresso a legitimate SUV. A 2,380mm wheelbase puts the four wheels, 14-inch steel rims with full wheel cover wrapped by 165/70 R14 tires, right at the corners of the Espresso, providing stability and good handling as well as helping increase cabin space. Beefy black resin front bumpers, bulldog-like face, high waistline look, and bulky rear add to the SUV character. Add the multi-reflector halogen lamps with what Suzuki calls a gripping design and the signature C-shaped rear lamps, and you get a look that stands out even in a crowd of bigger SUVs. The Espresso is powered by a compact 998cc 3-cylinder engine with multi-point fuel injection and 12 valves that generate 67 horsepower at 5,500 revolutions per minute and 90 Newton-meters of torque. That may seem low numbers for an SUV, but remember, this K vehicle just has a 750-kilogram curb weight. The engine drives the front wheels via 5-speed manual transmission. The Espresso can sit 5 adults, roomy for 4, but a cozy fit if you sit 3 in the rear, and has a room for 239 liters of cargo. It comes standard with a luggage shelf in the cargo compartment. The tall seats are upholstered in tasteful combination of vinyl and fabric. The front seats slide and recline. The rear seat backs folds if you need more room for luggage. A cool feature is the central position of the digital instrument panel, still with an easy view of driver, and sits above the 7-inch touchscreen of the infotainment system with USB and Bluetooth connectivity that plays through 2 speakers. Other driver amenities include remote keyless entry, power windows on the front doors with controls on the central console, central door locking, air conditioning with manual control, cup holders, bottle holders galore, and a 12-volt accessory socket. While the urethane steering wheel is fixed, comfortable driving can still be easily attained with the tall seating position and slide and recline function of the driver's seat. The Espresso rides on a suspension system featuring front McPherson struts and torsion beams in the rear. Electric power steering helps provide a nimble, responsive ride. The brake system uses front ventilated discs and rear drums to provide confident stopping power. The very affordable mini SUV comes standard with parking sensors, just one of safety features that include wear seatbelt reminders, 4 ELR seatbelts with the driver and front passenger getting pretensioners, 1 2-point lap belts, ISOFIX tether anchorage, child-proof rear door locks, dual airbags, and engine immobilizer. Also standard is the anti-lock brake system with electronic brake force distribution. This mini SUV from Suzuki arrived locally in just one variant, the Espresso GL manual transmission, with an SRP of 518,000 pesos.
question on those who like the Espresso's looks and promise is Suzuki bringing in an automatic? That's our featured vehicle on this week's showcase, courtesy of Prudential Guarantee.
Drive worry-free with Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program with a free 24-hour nationwide roadside assistance included with your comprehensive auto insurance. Rest assured, we'll take care of you and your car wherever you are. Prudential Guarantee's auto insurance program, 100% worry-free driving.
Be part of the 2020-2021 Autofocus People's Choice Awards, the only nationwide poll to determine the country's most popular car brands and models. It's easy. Log on, then vote for as many as 5 different models that you believe should become the 2020-2021 Autofocus Automobile of the Year in separate standard and premium luxury categories. Vote every day until September 30, 2020. The Autofocus People's Choice Awards. Who will win? You choose, you decide. Vote now.
We now have our public service segment brought to you by Honda Cars Philippines.
With the move to go cashless and contactless in almost every transaction during this time of COVID-19, many are expecting that the spread of the virus will slow down and eventually, and hopefully as well, will end the health crisis and pandemic we are in. The transport sector is no exception. The Department of Transportation has recently announced the shift to cashless transaction in expressways through the use of automated fare collection system or RFID stickers. However, a motorist informed us that upon getting his ride its RFID, personnel said that his vehicle is not compatible with it. He added that he went to 2 different installing stations in the north to have this fixed, but same reasons were given. Tint is too dark and headlight size is not compatible with the standard. This is worrisome for him as toll collection by November 2 will go all digital. We shall be asking the concerned tollway operator regarding this.
That's our public service segment from Honda Cars Philippines. And should you encounter motoring problems that need immediate attention, please feel free to contact us. See the details being flashed on the screen. And that's the week that was in motoring. Thank you for joining us. Also, don't forget to check us out on our social media accounts. Until next week here on Motoring Today, now on its 34th year of continuing service to the general motoring public with a lifelong commitment to promote road safety. Stay healthy and be vigilant at all times. On behalf of Butch Gamboa, I'm Ray Louie Gamboa. Happy motoring!